What is going on, guys? Mango 12 and we are finally returning to the Ultimate Spider-Man series. As you know, the all-new, all-different Marvel Universe has just kicked off with The Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Gwen, and more. So that is why these Ultimate Spider-Man comics haven't been reviewed recently. But now we're getting back on it and we're going to try and get these out as fast as possible. So before we get started, in case you guys are only just joining us, we are on a mission to review every single Ultimate Spider-Man comic from issue 1 all the way up to issue 133 and beyond. And right now, as you can see, we're on issue 48. Now, you guys might need your memories jogging a little bit since the previous issue because it's been so long. So at the end of the previous issue, we saw J. Jonah Jameson fire Peter Parker for trying to talk about the Kingpin, and basically everybody is just against Spider-Man right now. And of course, the Kingpin has come back into New York City and all that crazy stuff. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into this Ultimate Spider-Man issue 48 and let's get into it. So in my review of the previous issue, I told you guys that Peter Parker wasn't going to take this crap off J. Jonah Jameson, and indeed he doesn't. As Peter is packing up his things and leaving, he's walking out of J. Jonah Jameson's office and they have a little bit of a small argument, and the thing that J. Jonah Jameson says actually puts Peter over the edge and causes Peter to turn around and put J. Jonah Jameson in his place, and I absolutely loved it because we know that Peter could literally take on anybody in a fight, like an actual fist fight, but for a 15-year-old kid such as Peter to turn around to an older gentleman and be absolutely right is something that you don't see every day. And the best part is that Robbie actually sticks up for Peter, knowing that J. Jonah Jameson is in the wrong in this situation, and that just makes it all the more better. Something that we have to remember is that Peter is going through a pretty difficult time right now. Like, everybody absolutely hates him as Spider-Man. There's this guy running for election as mayor, I think it is, if I remember correctly, and his whole campaign is to get rid of Spider-Man. And there's all these signs with Spider-Man's face with a cross through it throughout the city. So for Spider-Man to have to swing through the city, seeing that everywhere he goes, and then he goes to work as Peter Parker, and then he loses his job there as well. Eventually, everything's going to get to you and you're going to do something pretty stupid. And in my opinion, what Peter is about to do is very stupid. And the reason I say this is because he goes after the Kingpin. And you might be thinking, well, that's not actually that bad. But if you think about it, it definitely is. He's got no reason to go after the Kingpin right now. He's literally unprepared and he's going after him because of his anger. He's basically jumping into a cold swimming pool without knowing whether he's going to be coming back out. And that's risky business. Now, of course, Kingpin's still trying to deal with the backlash that he's got from this video being released of him murdering someone. So he's not completely off the hook yet. But whilst he's in this little meeting, Spider-Man actually swings through the window, or at least tries to. And that's when it's revealed that Kingpin has actually invested in some reinforced glass because of what Spider-Man did last time. And I absolutely love how Kingpin just stands over Spider-Man. And I love this. It's almost like it's implying that Kingpin is above Spider-Man right now, that he's the one in charge. And just the way Spider-Man was hanging off the ledge almost looks like Kingpin is the one that's put him there. And I think that is brilliant. So as you can see on screen right now, it looks like Kingpin is enjoying himself. It looks like he thinks he's invincible. And at the minute, he kind of is because, well, he's behind some glass that Spider-Man can't even touch him. And just the way Kingpin looks up at Spider-Man as he tries to break through this glass, it's like a metaphorical shield to say that Kingpin is once again untouchable. And it's awesome. One of the many things that makes Spider-Man so relatable is the problems that he has in his professional, well, kind of like superhero life, floods over into his personal life. So we flip on over the page to go over to Peter Parker's school, where he's sat in class, and he actually asks a question to his teacher about Wilson Fisk and what she thinks about the legal system and the justice system and all of that, and she doesn't exactly give a straight answer. And just like most of us probably would, Peter flips out because everybody's kind of just turning a blind eye to Kingpin, aka Wilson Fisk, being let out to walk free after being seen on videotape murdering someone. Now, something that we have to take into account is Peter's uncle Ben also got murdered. So the fact that someone can actually just walk around after murdering someone has a pretty heavy effect on Peter. And usually as Spider-Man, he can kind of counteract that and, you know, put the guy back in jail or something. But Peter has done everything in his power to take down Kingpin, and he's still come back for more. So this is the one time where Peter kind of feels helpless in every area of his life, and it's kind of pulling him down. Now, something that's really interesting to me is the evolution of Peter Parker. You see the way he just walked out of class back there? If you compare this Peter Parker to the Peter Parker that was in Ultimate Spider-Man issue 1, Peter would have never done that in a million years of his life. But you can see that him being Spider-Man is changing him, and I absolutely love it, just how this kind of evolution of the character is coming around, and that is why the Ultimate Spider-Man comics are so important. Now, moving on throughout the comic and flipping over to the next page, we get another reason as to why the Ultimate Universe's Aunt May is the best Aunt May out of all of them, because she just picks up the phone and starts giving J. Jonah Jameson crap over the phone whilst Peter is sat there, and I thought Peter's expression on his face was brilliant. Just he's horrified, he's absolutely horrified at what he's just seen his Aunt May do, and it definitely surprised him. I mean, look at that face. So after that, we're moving on throughout the comic, and we go over to one of my favourite pages of the comic, and it's when Ben Urich is actually interviewing Sam Bullet. And this guy is actually the guy that's doing that campaign to get rid of Spider-Man, and I said that he was going to becoming the mayor, and it turns out that he's actually becoming the district attorney, or at least running for the election anyway. And this is why I think Ben Urich is the greatest reporter in the Marvel Universe, because the interview's going smoothly, it all seems very interview-esque, you know, like it's all normal. And then Ben Urich catches a picture in the background of Sam Bullet and Wilson Fisk in a picture together, obviously implying that these guys are personal friends. And obviously Sam Bullet is trying to maintain a certain type of reputation here, and now that we've just discovered that Sam Bullet is personal friends with Kingpin, and what Kingpin has just been involved in with that videotape, murder, etc., this is going to pretty much backlash on Sam Bullet's reputation and of course ruin his plans to become district attorney. There's also a noticeable change in Sam Bullet's actions. He starts to become a little bit edgy, he knows that they're kind of onto him, and he's almost having like a nervous breakdown. But Ben Urich is kind of pushing him a little bit, doing that interview thing, you know, like where he puts words in your mouth. But this pushes Sam Bullet over the edge, and he actually grabs the recorder and smashes it on the desk and then threatens Ben Urich. And this is what Ben Urich wanted to get out of him. He wanted to get the bad guy out of him to show his true colours. And out of the brilliance of Ben Urich, he actually had a backup recorder actually recording in his pocket. Now the worst thing about this is that the Daily Bugle, aka J. Jonah Jameson, is actually backing Sam Bullet in the election to become district attorney. So the fact that the Daily Bugle is revealing this about the person that they're supposed to be working with is pretty bad. And of course the whole reason the Daily Bugle were backing Sam Bullet in the first place was because he wants to get rid of Spider-Man as much as J. Jonah Jameson. And now we flip on over to the last page of the comic, and it's J. Jonah Jameson receiving that call off May Parker of her giving him crap. And this is kind of J. Jonah Jameson thinking about his actions, looking into the eyes of Spider-Man on that No Spider-Man poster, and just thinking, is it really worth it? So that is where the issue ends. Guys, what did you think? Let me know in the comments section below. That was the end of Ultimate Spider-Man issue 48, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Peter standing up for himself against J. Jonah Jameson was awesome. Think about it, a 15-year-old kid standing up to an experienced older person in the industry, and him being wrong. Doesn't happen every day, and for a 15-year-old kid to point that out is rather brilliant. And we can't forget about that awesome encounter between Spider-Man and Kingpin. Kingpin looking down at Spider-Man as if he was beneath him, and Aunt May being an awesome badass. Let's not forget about that. So guys, that is the end of this video. Go to the links in the description to follow me on Twitter and Facebook for all of the latest in comic book news and updates. Don't forget to go to my Instagram to see what I'm doing in my free time when I'm not editing these videos, and I will see you all next time.